Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is The Valley Business Today, top of Virginia Regional Chamber version. And I've got an old friend that I haven't seen in a while. Jody Wall is joining me on a Zoom screen today. Of course, you were listening to this on a Wednesday afternoon. We are pre-recording it on a Monday afternoon. But Jody, it is so nice to see your face because I was a little concerned a while back when you announced your retirement. I thought we'd never see each other again.
Well, I promised my community leadership class that I would hang in there with them. And, you know, this pandemic has had a way of prolonging things.
Yeah, some of us think that that's a good thing. The community leadership program is what we're going to talk about today. And I know that I was joking with you before we turned on the mics, so to speak, for the radio show that I was part of the very first community leadership program. I am a huge fan of these programs. I know a lot of chambers across the country do them, and I think they are a fantastic way to get leaders to understand the communities that they live in, and then allows them to go out and be a better part of that community.
Absolutely, and that's the whole purpose of our program, to educate people in the community, business professionals about the community, and to offer them opportunities for stepping in or stepping up into leadership roles in the community, wherever that might be.
And I know Charles is sharing a Zoom screen with us today. He is a 2019-2020 leadership graduate. We're going to talk to him in a minute about his impact. But before we do that, so explain to me, Jody, how does the program work? How long is it? What are the components of the community leadership program?
So this program has been going on for 23 years. It started, as you know, in 1996. The first class of which you were a part graduated in 1997. And so Charles' class will be graduating this year in 2020. They're the 23rd class. So we have quite a history in our community. It's a 9-month program. We have 9 full-day sessions. It starts in September and goes through May. We have a orientation meeting towards the end of August and a formal graduation ceremony in June. This year it hasn't quite worked that way, but hopefully next year it will.
And each month of the 9 months, each month has a different focus. It takes a piece of our community, and you really kind of get in the weeds a little bit with how those different things work. What are the different programs that are within the program itself?
That's right. So each session deals with a totally different topic, and some of those topics include public safety, healthcare, agriculture, government and economic development. We have a community problem-solving session in which we take an issue within our community, which is the region that our Chamber of Commerce serves, and we explore that issue. We explore possible solutions, the factors that are contributing to that issue, and we start with a leadership and teamwork session in September. and try to explore all aspects of our community.
So, Charles, when I asked you before we turned on the mics how you wanted me to introduce you, you gave me this great big long list, which now doesn't surprise me at all that you were a leadership almost graduate. You're a VP at Fortessa. You're on the board. You serve in a lot of different ways through our community. What attracted you to the leadership program in the beginning?
Well, generally, I heard about the program. I've heard a lot of good things from previous classmates, and I gotta say, I was still surprised of everything that you could see, what's going on in our region, and the behind the scenes working of all the different parts, which you really don't get to see on a day-to-day basis. If it's healthcare, if it's fire and police, if it's your government, you really never get to see the behind the screen scenes. And here with the program, you do get to see, I think, more in depth of all the different parts of our community. And you get a sneak peek of behind the scenes, what everybody really has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And you're probably really surprised of all the weeds that a lot of people have to deal with. And it's just extremely interesting. It really is.
Well, and I remember from my days, and I probably shouldn't have made a big deal about being in the first class if I'd known Jody was going to say that was 23 years ago. Thanks, Jody. Now I'm feeling really, really old today. But it really does give you a good perspective, because I think a lot of times just your average citizens and even business owners and community leaders think we know how things work. But until you go through this program and really do, like you say, Charles, get in the weeds and talk to the people who are doing the jobs, you realize it gives you a whole different perspective for healthcare and government work and all of these different topics.
That's very true. And you still also see a lot of other things that are going on in the community that you had no clue about. I don't want to sound like I don't know what's going on in Winchester, but I never heard about the Winchester Little Theater. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw that and got to be working the show a little bit. It was a great thing. And it would just go on and on with all the different other places.
And Jody, these classes, this program isn't massive in that 100 people don't sign up to take this. This is a relatively small group of people that once they come through it, really do have connections and relationships with each other, in addition to being, kind of community or a little more community oriented.
That's right. So we invite, as I said, professional business people who either work or live in our community and have a vested interest in our community. We strive for an average of 25 class members. We won't go more than 30. In the past 2 or 3 years, we've had 27, 28, 29 members in our class. This upcoming year, we expect to have a slightly smaller class simply because of the situation that we're in right now. But we do plan to move forward with our standard operating procedure and run the program as we always have in the past.
And in a lot of cases, the tuition for this program is paid for by a lot of these companies because they want to groom their staff to be leaders anyway. That kind of helps a little bit to offset some of the cost.
Absolutely. And it also offers the opportunity for scholarships. We do offer a few limited scholarships. And a lot of businesses, particularly nonprofits, take advantage of that. So we very much appreciate our sponsors for allowing us to do that. So I would like to publicly thank our sponsors, and they are H.N. Funkhauser and Handymart, American Woodmark, Navy Federal Credit Union, Dr. Dave Leadership, and TWG, the Winchester Group.
That's the other part of this that I think is so amazing is you really get a sense too of the companies in our area that are interested in growing leadership when they make a commitment to be a sponsor of a program like this.
Yes, very much so.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can we talk a little bit about some of the classes and how you determine what the topics are going to be? Because I know that they move around and they're in different locations. I've been a panel speaker on some of them in the last couple of years. So can we talk a little bit about the program itself when we come back?
Be happy to.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Jody Wall. She is the Director of Program Development for the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber. Charles Daniels is also sharing a Zoom screen with us. He is and I tried to write down as he was telling me, I'm just going to say he's a Vice President at Fortessa because it was a really long title, Charles. Your business card must be the size of a billboard. He is also a board member for the Top of Virginia Chamber, as well as a member of the Community Leadership Program. We're going to continue that conversation with both of them in just a couple of minutes. Expecting to hear a commercial? That's what this is, sorta. First, I want to thank you for listening to the Valley Today podcast. You're one of thousands who listen to the show this way every month. Sometimes it's because our listeners are busy and they want to listen when it fits their schedule, or it's a guest of the show who want to hear what they sounded like when they were on the radio. We even have a few binge listeners who listen to a week's worth at a time. Can you even imagine? So if you want those people, your potential customers, to hear your message, then this could have been your ad. And the bonus, your commercial isn't restricted to just 30 or 60 seconds. You can take up to 2 minutes to talk to those customers. And there's even the opportunity to be an exclusive sponsor of the Valley Today podcast, which also gets you on-air mentions at the end of every show. If any of this sounds interesting to you, give me a call at the station, 540-635-4121, or send me an email to janet@theriver953.com. You can also find all my contact info by searching for me on theriver953.com. Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley Business Today as you are listening to the show on a Wednesday afternoon. However, we have pre-recorded our conversation today with Jody Wall from the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber on a Monday afternoon. She is semi-retired is what we'll say, but she is still the Director of Program Development for the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber. She could not leave her community leadership program behind, and that is what we were talking about today. Charles Daniels is also joining us on the Zoom screen. He is a Vice President at Fortessa and a board member. And now, Charles, have you graduated yet? Has the graduation for the 1920 class actually happened?
Unfortunately, with the situation with COVID-19, we have not finished our last segment. We had to skip one. We have one more to go, and we will be waiting for that to finish. And then once that one is finished, the SIMSOC, and then once that's finished, we will be graduating.
So Jody, how are you making all of this work now in the middle of a pandemic? I mean, it had quite an impact, I would guess, on your existing class. How are you going to make those classes up?
Well, that's a very good question. So the Chamber has been committed to finishing this year and giving our class members an opportunity to complete the program. So we have not missed any sessions. Now, the pandemic has definitely provided a challenge to a lot of class members because the way we've been doing business and the way we've reacted personally to the illness has affected their attendance. But we had to skip March because that's when everything shut down, and we had to backpedal a little bit and come up with another plan of attack. So the last two sessions have been held on Zoom, and they were received very well by class members. So we were very pleased with how that worked for us. The final session, which is coming up on July 10th, is one that it's an interactive activity, so it cannot be done virtually. So we are holding that, and that will be the last session this year. Normally, this program year would have wrapped up by the end of May.
And the new class starts when?
In September.
So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're somewhat on the other side of this, or at least that you can get through the 9 months after that without any major issues.
Yeah, so we'll take it month by month. We have learned that Zoom works very well. It's not ideal for this program because we try to make this program as interactive as possible, but it certainly works. It provides that educational element. I think Charles would agree that it was better than not having it at all.
100%. The program is very interactive. Each segment that you go through and each segment that you learn from. Then on top of that, we would visit different places to go to and see the different places that we were learning about. So it would be interesting, and the Zoom kind of prevented that. So that part unfortunately got cut out the last 2 times. And that's exactly what Jody's also saying with the SimSoc, that has to be live.
Jody, we were talking during the break about the fact that it doesn't really matter how long you've lived in our community. And when we say community, we mean City of Winchester, Frederick County, and Clark County. You could have just moved here. You could have lived here for 20 years or 50 years. And this is still an applicable program to you. Have you had anybody that has retaken it? Like, for example, from everything that I'm hearing from you and Charles, it is a vastly different program now than it was for me 23 years ago. Have you had people that have said, hey, I want to take it again just to refresh what I learned back then and how it's done now?
No, I've never actually had anyone do that, but I have had people talk about doing that. I think people could be interested. While some of the players change from year to year, for instance, the police chief or school superintendents or those types of people, some of the tours change from year to year. We did do a virtual tour of the Joint Judicial Center in our Zoom meeting, but that doesn't work for everything. And as Charles said, we try to be interactive and take people to different facilities. The detention center was a tour we had to cancel, which you wouldn't normally get a tour of our local jail. But we do, this program has been described as a backstage pass to the community.
I like that. And right now, registration is open. So if somebody is listening and they are sold and they want to be a part of it, whether they've done it before or this is brand new for them, how do they register, sign up? What's the process?
So they can get in touch with me at the chamber, or they can go onto the chamber website, and there is a form that they can fill out to indicate their interest. That comes to our office, and I'll respond to them with information about the program. The deadline for completed applications is June 30th.
Next week. And it is a limited class number. So if you want to make sure that you get included, getting your registration in sooner rather than later is probably very helpful.
Yes, that's right.
Charles, I was asking you during the break if there was any particular class that stood out to you or one that you enjoyed more than the other. And you really thought that every single class was informational, it was interesting, and you walked away from every one of them knowing a little bit of something that you didn't know when you walked in.
I think every class was very unique. And like I said, it's you go in with a certain mindset. You learn something new, which is great. A lot of the things are applicable to probably other smaller towns, Winchester size or our community size. So you could still, if you go somewhere else, you learn a lot about the different government, police, and so forth. And you could carry that over to a different place. At the same time, since these community leadership programs are being held by many different chambers, definitely if I ever would move, which I don't plan on, but if I ever did move, I would want to take a similar program in the chamber of that area, because it really is unique to your area, and it's really great to learn. It's great to have our class. Our class was 29 people, and meet people from all the different business segments in our area. and I call them all my friends now. So that's also a really unique thing.
And Jody, these are day-long classes, one a month for 9 months, but the classes themselves are different depending on what the topic is. I mentioned before we went to break that I served on a panel for one, I guess it was last year, but not all of them are panels. Some of them are different people. Some of them you mentioned are tours. They really are different in each of their topics.
Yes, that's right. So every session, as I said, deals with a different topic, and we try to create a diverse experience within each day. So each day will typically include at least one panel of experts, people in the profession or in the field that we're discussing that day. It will include at least one tour of either a business or a facility such as the Joint Judicial Center or City Hall or the local detention center. It could be a school. We've done lots of different types of tours. So that's one reason why we want to, moving forward for this next program year, make sure that if we can do the program in person and be as interactive as possible, that's an ideal situation. So our plan is to move forward with the standard format of the program, and we'll take it as it comes.
And you've got a lot of graduates after 23 years behind you in this program that also probably lend a lot of their expertise and guidance in planning each of the sessions and in assisting you however you need if you suddenly do have to change everything because of a pandemic.
Absolutely. We have several hundred, we may have as many as 500 alumni to this program. And the program sessions are actually planned by the alumni. So I have a committee for every session that comes together and plans the agenda for that particular session. And we take into consideration what's going on in the community and what we want to focus on during that particular program year.
So how would somebody register or get more information?
They can email me at jwall@regionalchamber.biz, or they can go to the chamber website, which is regionalchamber.biz, and go to programs and events and click on the community leadership program, and they'll find a registration form.
And that's the same thing that you emailed me earlier this week. So I'll put that link in the show notes page of the podcast. So if somebody wants to go there and get it, that'll make it a little bit easier for them too.
Thank you.
Charles, what's been the biggest impact as we wrap up? What's been the biggest impact that you think this leadership program has had on you being part of the community?
Biggest impact. Well, each one of them was great. Like I said, there was a couple things that I wanted to do that I was not able to do just because of the pandemic. One of the things that everybody said is always so cool is the ride along. I signed up for the ride along basically right when everything shut down. So I was not able to do that. That's something that I definitely will do as soon as it opens up. And for those that don't know what the ride along is, it's basically you get to ride along with a police officer on the early shift or the late shift, and to see what those police officers are doing on a day-to-day basis. One of our classmates actually did it, and he was just thrilled what he was able to see during that time. So that's something that I'm going to sign up for as soon as I can. Government, I thought was really interested. The education part was phenomenal. The middle school that we have is just absolutely phenomenal.
And this is exactly what you want, isn't it, Jody? You want people to go through this class and have this kind of experience so they can go back into the community and spread the word and tell everyone else who may not have an opportunity to go through the program about how great the community is.
Right. And I think people discover aspects of our community that they had no idea about and are, for the most part, very impressed with what's going on in our community.
And maybe I just got to add also, Janet, that I think it's not only the program and the different sessions you get to see, it's all the leaders that participate in the program, and you get to meet all of them. So we have 26 in our class, and those 26 people that we get to meet and once a month see, and sometimes maybe you run into them at the grocery store, wherever, and you get to meet these other people. That's also a great thing.
Well, on that positive note, we are going to wrap up today's show. We have been chatting via Zoom with Jody Walsh. She is the Director of Program Development for the Top of Virginia Regional Chamber. Charles Daniels has also joined us. He is an almost graduate of the Community Leadership Program. He is on the board for the Chamber, as well as being a Vice President at Fortessa. We have been talking about the Community Leadership Program. I'll have all the details for that up on the show notes page. Jody, Charles, thank you so much for taking some time out of a pretty sticky Monday afternoon to have a conversation with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
We will be back live in the studio tomorrow. I know it seems kind of crazy, but it is Public Safety Thursday. We have changed the name of that show from Traffic Safety Thursday to Public Safety Thursday, but it is still Lieutenant Warren Gosnell from the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. He is their new Public Information Officer, so we thought we should fancy up the show name just a little bit. But he will be meeting me at the studio tomorrow a few minutes after noon, so we will have a live show ready to go for you. So meet me back here then, and we will be live on the air.